Okay, hello everybody. I have a very exciting guest today on my YouTube. We have, as she requested me to call her, Person A. I think that you are one of the most active people that we had inside our group, and I always loved hearing how you would share your progress. And I think that it also inspired other people in the group. So, Person A, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. This is literally like my first time. I feel being on the show.
Yeah, you are. You are. You're basically on the Sulkina show.
Well, honestly, like if I jog back down all the way to the beginning, even before joining the program, I mean, I started off honestly with like viewing a lot of like TikTok videos.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I may as well join, Silkina's program because out of them all, like I just felt like she had a lot of experience, knew what she was doing. But not just that, like it also gave me the feeling when I got inside it, like I start to finally understand, okay, this is the process that I have to do in order to, I could say, manifest or get a certain outcome. But at the end, I would say, and this is more of a little summary before I get deep into it. At the end, I realized it's not just all about SP. It's also about ourselves, our self growth, how we can improve as an individual. But anyways, now going back to the
Yeah.
start. So yeah, at the beginning, it was, I have to say it was rough emotionally because, there was a lot of thoughts um within me thinking, can I really get them back? Is this possible? And then the more I dealt deeper into it, the more I actually realized it is possible. And a lot of the times, right, even going through the course, right, um, I felt that the EFT tapping was very useful because it would help me regulate my nervous system. There was times where I had doubts, like a lot of times, and it was rough because he would even get involved third parties. I'm like, imagine how that
I
feels,
remember that. I remember that. Yeah. And I mean, there's literally a tapping called remove a third party inside the program. And it's because of that. It's because, like, sometimes when things like that, when we're working towards something and then our reality shows us the opposite, it's so easy to give up. But that's usually when we haven't fully solidified, like, in the version of ourselves that we want, or we focus too much, like you said, on the SP. Like, the deeper you go to this
Mhm.
journey, you realize that, oh, actually it's just about me, and I want to feel good, right?
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to keep affirming and manifesting for another person if it just makes me feel miserable. My cat just meowed, so that's
Exactly.
confirmation for my cat. Thank
No, but I agree with you on that. Because like the more I realized, the more I detached, the more they reflect that. It's like it sounds so
you.
weird to think about it in this way because now I have a lot more experience and I've tested it out also with my current SP, which we'll get into in a bit.
Yeah.
It's like the more you're just self-focused, the more they mirror that to you. It's like the more they want you in a weird way, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes so much sense. And, like, what was your biggest challenge, like, when you were manifesting your first SB? And again, we're gonna get to how SPs
I would
change.
say
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say emotional regulation, but not like in a bad way, like emotional regulation in a sense, kind of like trying to get myself into that new state of mind. And I'm not saying you brainwash yourself, but I mean, to an
Yeah.
extent, you
It's
kind of do.
do. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
y-
In a good way.
yeah, but like, yeah, in a good way, but it's more like you brainwash yourself to an extent that it's like where it starts to really feel normal.
Yes.
um and
Yeah.
like you solidify in the new self-concept.
Yeah, because even when you're affirming, it's like you're not meant to affirm forever. Like, there will come a time where it is you. Like, it becomes who you are. It is your
Exactly.
natural way of thinking. It's just that first few, period of time where, yeah, you might have to do that hard thing of, like, being consistent and, like,
Yeah.
persisting, releasing resistance, but there will come a time where like I don't know how to explain it. It just clicks, right? Like it's just like, oh, I get
Yeah.
it. Like this is just who I am. Yeah.
Right. Right. And then like just even thinking like back to now, like, even like with my current SP,
Yeah.
right? I'm manifesting towards a committed relationship. And I mean, we were not in contact for about 4 to 5 months.
Mm.
Um, but obviously it had nothing to do with like other girls or anything. It was him just wanting to work on himself, which I applaud, I have to say,
Yeah.
because, you know, we had come out of whatever we had come out of in the past, right? With me, with my old SP and all that
Yeah.
stuff, right? So, and he had gotten out of stuff. So it's like, that's good that you actually are emotionally aware to want to improve yourself, not just for yourself, but for the other individual.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, going back onto this, right? Like, literally every single night I was visualizing, thinking to myself, like, he wants something, he's going to literally spill all his feelings to me. And crazy enough, literally, I just saw him on Friday and he started spilling so many things saying, like, oh, okay, I think like I'm ready for like a relationship or to date you. Like, I
Yeah.
just need to fix this little thing. It's almost there. And I'm like, that's right. We're almost near the jackpot here. And I was like jaw drop because so many of the things I visualized came true. And I'm like, nah, I feel like I'm dreaming. Like I had a one night dream here, girl.
It's so
But
yeah, I mean, let's also talk about how we actually connected for this. Like sometimes it's
yeah.
like it surprises us, but it doesn't surprise us. Sorry, my light is dying. Um, but basically, I was thinking of connecting with you, and I was about to message
Yeah.
you, but before I could do that, you messaged me. So, like, technically,
Yeah.
that's kind of SB manifestation too. Like, you're a specific person that I was thinking about, and it's like
Yeah.
I think we telepathically connected, and I hadn't heard from you for about a year. Like, I haven't talked to you
Oh,
in
that's
about,
crazy.
yeah, like basically the last time we spoke about was last year when you joined, and like we were just chatting in the group. So proof that
Yeah.
this work really does work, and all you have to do is just have that intention for it. But
Exactly.
I guess also what I wanted to talk about and like get back to the basics and stuff. So like last year when you joined, you had a different SP, right? And now you're with a different SP. So what
Yeah.
yeah, so like what was that journey like? And also what made you kind of go like, okay, I'm just going to work on myself and I'm not even going to focus on this first SP and I'm just going to focus on myself and I'm going to let, things like happen to me. Cuz I mean, that's kind of like what being magnetic is all about. You're not
Right.
externalizing anything. You're just working on yourself and then allowing the right people and the right circumstances to like happen to you. And that doesn't mean that you cannot have
Right.
exactly what you want, but it's understanding that we are co-creating. Like we live in a world, in a universe where we are supported by a higher intelligence, by infinite intelligence, as Neville Goddard would say.
hmm Well, I mean, with my past SP, um, there had been a time, to be honest, where he actually wanted to work things out. But like, I
Mm.
think I was at a point where I'm like, I had worked so much on myself that I'm like, like I tried for a bit, but that's when I was like, at some point, I was like, girl, what are you doing? And it's not because I didn't want him. It's just, I think maybe even on a spiritual level, I had outgrown him.
Yes.
If we're gonna be
I'm
realistic.
getting goosebumps.
And
Like, cause that is so real. That's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. Yeah.
y-
So real.
yeah, and like I'm sorry, Sonny, but like your time's up, Now I'm off to like just focusing on better things. And then boom, here comes my current SP popping in the picture. And crazy enough, actually, I knew this guy 7 years ago. How does that happen? The world's wild.
Oh my god, yeah. That's synchronicity.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause
Yeah.
like even my current SP was like, how? Just how did this all happen? Like we just reconnected like this. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna go down in the rabbit hole of like spiritual stuff because I'm like, I don't think you comprehend that much, buddy. But just take it as a good sign.
Yeah, oh my God. Exactly. Like sometimes when the things that we desire happen, it's normal for our brain to be like how and why and when, but it's like just sit with it, just sit with that gratitude and that happiness and just say thank you, right? Like, okay, this is what I wanted and it's here and thank you so much. And I love that you said that you outgrew him spiritually because that's also a really big thing. Like we forget that we're not just manifesting from our ego and our brains, but we are literally, spiritual souls having this human experience. And that's what happened with me as well. It's like I started to outgrow my old SP. And so when he came back, I couldn't force myself. And it doesn't mean that I didn't get my manifestation. I had the power to choose differently. Like I desired something differently and I didn't have to force myself to like forget about him. I just naturally drifted towards something that I felt was like better for me, right? And frequency is real, energy is real. So once you're already on a different level than your SP, you can't force yourself to like come down if you're like, like if you've elevated. Like is that how you felt as well?
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. But also, one thing is, I mean, it sounds a bit cringe, but I feel like my old SP was kind of like the guinea pig trial. I always call him that just because.
That's what we use people for. Just kidding. That's what we use SPs for. It's like we're gonna test you for this. We're gonna see if law of assumption is real.
But realistically, with this current one, I guess, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if it's because I feel a stronger emotional pull towards him. But like, there's something in my mind that is like, you know what? Yeah, I started something with my old SP regarding the whole manifestation stuff. But then with the current one, I think to myself, no, I want to go all the way to full commitment to him. And I'm getting close because he's been having, like, not having, let me rewind what I'm trying to say, eating my own words. Like, he's been literally having thoughts like, of like actually wanting to take this more seriously. And not just that, I mean, like, when he came back in, I actually told him, by the way, I went on 5 dates. And he started to feel bothered. And I'm like, well, I mean, oh, what else was I supposed to do, boy? Like 4 months? You were working on yourself. I got busy with myself too.
Absolutely. And like that's also a huge part. It's like you're not wasting or leaking your energy just wondering what the other person is doing, but this journey is about enjoying your life. Like literally making yourself feel good, right? And like coming back to you. Like sometimes other people are just like expanders for us and like activators for us, right? So it's like they have come into our lives just to show us like what we are actually capable of and also what we truly deserve, right? So how did tools like EFT tapping really help you like in your journey, of like moving from your first SP and then getting this other new wonderful SP that you've known for 7 years like pop back up into your life? Like how did tools like EFT tapping help you with that?
In regards to EFT tapping, I feel like I used a lot of it during, I want to call it the transition process. Like at the beginning, right? Yes, when I started a whole manifesting journey, right? But also like even after I was kind of like moving away from him, because it kind of helped me like stay in that calm, peaceful state, like knowing everything is going to be good, everything's going to work out. And that's the state I think we all should be in because the reality, and sorry for going a little bit off topic in regards to EFT tapping, because the reality is that we're all energetically connected.
Yes.
And no one is going to truly like disappear from our lives. That's what I really realized. That's why when even my current SP like kind of like drifted away for 4 to 5 months, like he even said, he literally was like, I thought about you the entire time. I'm like, I know you did, boy, because I was having, in
Yeah.
my imagination thoughts like that. And then he seems so desperate. He's like, did you think of me? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta play cool. But I was telepathically talking to you the whole time.
Exactly. Um, but yeah, going back to the EFT tapping stuff, yeah, I feel at the very beginning I used it a lot. Like now, I just feel like I use it when I truly need it
Yeah.
because I feel like I've gotten to a state where like I can realign myself, or I have different ways, I guess, to soothe myself.
Yes.
I mean, as weird as it sounds, it's like I feel like the more I get busy, like being involved with other people, it's like I know, like a lot of times people say, like, oh, just pick a new hobby up. But for me, I feel like just literally like pulling my energy and throwing it like onto other people and socializing, that's my way of detachment. And that's what keeps drawing them in because I'm not thinking about them. And I'm like, we all got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad thing to like go out and like enjoy. Like it doesn't have to be like a form of like a bad distraction. Like it's not like that. Like part of healing also is connection, is like being with your friends and like your family and enjoying and like having fun. And so when you look back, like what kind of beliefs did you shift? So like when you were anxious and you were needing a lot of validation, what was your belief back then and what is your belief now? Because I also feel like you also said like right now you have that innate belief of like everything is going to work out for me, like everything is okay. And
Oh
I
yeah, to,
yeah.
to to get to that state, oh, it took me a while. Like even yeah, at the beginning, I kind of felt like, like I don't want to say am I worthy of him? It's more like I need his time and attention. But then
Mhm.
I said to myself, girl, you need to give that to yourself first in order for him to reflect that back to you.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no, I went through a lot of shifting. Even I remember with my old SP, a lot of mind shifting. At the beginning, it was difficult. It felt weird because I remember even in the group, you were saying to a lot of people, I may feel a little weird at the beginning, but then you go into the flow of things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, because at the end of it, it's change, right? And change is new, change is different. If you're going through a manifestation process, you're basically telling yourself, I would like to experience a change. So if your body is not ready to experience that change, or if your body feels unsafe or your mind feels unsafe, then it's gonna feel like you're gonna keep feeling those kinds of emotions of worry and like anxiety and anger and all these things pop up, which is why the word that you used is really important, and that is self-soothing, and it doesn't have to be tapping. Like for some people it's so many different things, even having a phone call with a friend, right? Or being around your pets. Like now that I have 3 cats, I literally went from like hating cats to having 3. It's like they are a form of my self-soothing as well. It's like if I'm anxious, I'm just like with them and I feel like I'm already feeling so much more regulated. So it doesn't have to be tapping, but you must have some type of self-soothing tool that helps you come back to you.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, going back to that, I also feel like because I remember back in the day, the group, I would also use like subliminals. Those were very useful too, I felt. Um, Combining that with EFT tapping, work like a charm. And it's like now that like I've kind of mastered, I don't want to say the form of detachment, but sure, let's call it that.
Yeah.
Um, I use a lot more like subliminals because it's like, at the end, you know what I mean? From the different techniques that are out there, right? You figure out which is the one that really works well. So,
Yeah, and like sleep subliminals is amazing. I mean, yeah, they're inside the course as well. They're amazing because you literally it also teaches you the art of receiving. Like all you have to do is sleep and let the subliminals I mean let your subconscious mind do its job of like absorbing these things. So Yeah, sleep subliminals are definitely very powerful, and it's also good to, listen to subliminals from people that you trust because again, you're working with your subconscious mind. Like you want to rewire it like purely, right? Like with love and like with good intention. That's also a very simple routine. I mean, it doesn't have to be hard, right? So like what would you say was like the it routine for you? Like what worked? Like what did you do in the morning, throughout the day, at night?
Well, the current one, to be honest, like I said before, I mean, in the past, I had used EFT tapping. But if I were to talk about my current routine,
Yeah.
it's more like I wake up in the morning, obviously go eat, and then I listen to a subliminal,
Yeah.
and that helps me get into the state. And then honestly, after that, like I just let my day flow, knowing that everything's going to work out. And then at night, this is the kicker. It's the visualizing before I sleep. That is so powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful, I tell you. Because I feel like it makes your energy flow, but not just that. You can really feel it speeds everything up.
Yeah.
And there you see it, right? Like literally my current SP throwing all his emotions out and being like, crap, I messed up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you anymore to go on dates. And I'm like, oh, you don't know. Like, I was chuckling myself off on Friday because I'm like, boy, you don't know what I did to get you to this state. But I'm like, I'm hearing everything I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, realistically, that's what I would say. Starting off with subliminals, and then ending it with visualization at night.
That's actually my like ideal routine as well. It's like the minute you wake up, listen to an affirmation track or like a subliminal, and then throughout the day, if you really feel like your fearful thoughts are like popping up, then listen to some type of track. You can even listen to the sleep subliminals like during the day as well. Like they're just affirmations. And then before you go to bed, yeah, listen to the subliminal track again. Like it doesn't have to be difficult, but what's important is you're aware of your self talk like every moment of every day. It's really not just about the 10 minutes that you wake up every day, but I really like that you mentioned visualizing before bed. That's, I guess, called SATS, what Neville Goddard calls it state akin to sleep. So it's like just visualizing before you go to bed. And that's really powerful because, you get into that brainwave state of theta and like delta before you go to bed and when you're waking up. And so, those are like the times where your brain is like really, it's like prime time to, rewire thoughts and like beliefs. So what really would you share to people who right now are struggling with like doubts about manifesting their SP, or they're so stuck with one person that they're not able to move beyond that and just like not wanting to work on themselves because they're afraid that their SP is like going to disappear and like go away?
I mean, I really think that like to people who have never experienced or done things like this and would be keen on trying, I would firstly say honestly, like, you know, join your program, right? Get
Oh,
familiarized and
yeah.
join your program. I'm sorry, I'm
Not
blunt, but like,
mandatory, but
well, no,
if
well,
you
I
feel
mean,
called to it, yes.
but like, well, no, I mean, I'm being very realistic, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like
Well,
that's
thank
where you
you.
really
Yeah.
you learn a lot of the stuff, right? And and I'm not trying to fluff your feathers here, but I'm being very serious. When I got into your program, I really learned a lot, really.
Yeah.
And but going back to people who are afraid or or would want to test out the waters trying this out, I think maybe to start off before getting into anything, right?
Yeah.
Watch a few videos, right? But not just watch a few videos. Like, yeah, you can familiarize yourself with it. But at the same time, I think it's about knowing, I guess, having an inner knowing that this is what you want to achieve. And I wouldn't even like, sometimes I don't like to view it as a goal itself because you're not trying to attain, You're
Yeah.
changing yourself first. And that's the key. Sometimes, I'm guilty of it to this day. Sometimes I'm still trying to like achieve my manifestation. I'm like, girl, no, you're not. Like, hello. It's about yourself. Stop with this goal setting.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, going back to what I was saying. So yeah, like watching videos and then just even having kind of like, I don't want to say a clear mindset, but kind of like, I mean, sure, at the beginning, maybe you could view it as a goal because you're starting everything out, you're learning everything. But as you get deeper into it, you know, gain an understanding that it's like it is important to take care of yourself. It is important to put the focus on yourself, right? And the more you do that, the more you will start to see results, you
Mhm.
know, and the more you will discover what technique works for me, what doesn't, right? And what can I utilize to keep moving forward um, to
Yeah.
get to the place I want to be.
Yeah, and like
So
it's even coming back to if we are really, the only ones in our reality, then why are we working on somebody else, right? Like it only makes sense that all we can focus on is ourselves. And when we focus on ourselves, people around us change, but it's not like a manipulation tactic or like technique. It's literally just universal law, like we are all connected. Right. And when we maintain our magnetism, when we just focus on becoming the best version of ourselves, there's no way that you will not get what you truly desire, because something that is meant for you just will never ever ever pass you by. Like it will never pass you by. Like all you have to do is just focus on your magnetism, right? So what would you say is the biggest thing that has changed within yourself? Like how has your relationship with yourself changed since like plunging into this SP manifesting journey?
I think something that has changed is that I guess I could say I've become more confident in myself, realizing that, like, look, girl, just because, you know, they take some time apart or whatever the reason is, right? It's not going to change anything because at the end, they all come back. We're all energy, we're not losing anyone. And that's why I pity to, like, for example, people that go through breakups, right? And they
Mhm.
think, oh my God, he's never coming back. Well, then why after X amount of months he's back? What do you think happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's obviously, I mean, unless we decide to cut energetic cords with that person, then
Agree.
that's a different story. But
Yeah.
realistically, it's they're gonna be back. And
Yeah.
plus, the more you have that inner knowing, the more I think it's going to manifest because we all unconsciously manifest even without realistically doing any sort of techniques. It's ongoing.
Yeah, and like that's what I also tell a lot of the people that come into my world, and like I don't want to focus on myself cuz I'm afraid that they're going to leave, and I'm like, trust me, they're not going anywhere. Like just put them aside, like just put them in a little box on the side, and that box is not going anywhere. When you work on yourself, what's going to happen is you're either going to have a beautiful relationship with this person that has left you or that you left, or it's going to be your choice to say, I don't want this person. I don't want to be with this person. I feel like I deserve better. And that's not even going to come from a place of force. Like you're genuinely, kind of like what happened to you. Genuinely, you looked at your old SP and you're like, I want something else. Like I want someone else. Like that's what happened to me as well. I kind of looked at it and was like, if I wanted to, I could have 100% went into a relationship with this person again, but I genuinely didn't want to. And I just felt like I wanted somebody else, and I got somebody else. So it's like, right. I'm so glad that I didn't keep myself limited and keep myself small just for the sake of fear, right? And this is why tools like EFT tapping, breath work is great to deal with that fear, like that initial fear of, oh my God, I will never find anybody again. I am gonna lose this person, and my life is like just gonna go to the shits. Like, like that's how I felt. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna die without this person. I literally said that to myself. I'm like, I'm gonna die without this person. So funny looking back, because I'm like, I'm alive and thriving now. But it's like, I really felt, it felt like dying.
Yeah, right. No, I can definitely understand that feeling. Because even at the beginning with my past SP, that's what I felt too.
Yeah.
Because, like, imagine, right? Like, he posts all his adventures with different girls on Instagram. That's like very nerve-wracking. But
Oh,
then you point, right?
yeah.
That you're kind of like, oh, now he's thinking about me. And just like a year ago, like, I'll never forget this when he mentioned my name in an Instagram story with his friend. And all of you guys remember
I
seeing that.
remember.
And it was all because of my hard work. And I was like, oh
He was literally thinking of
my
you
God. But
the whole time.
during the whole trip, that's the funny
Yeah.
part of wherever he went.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
um
Yeah.
yeah, no, so I can definitely relate.
What did you do back then, like when you were seeing him with other girls? Because I think a lot of people can relate to that, like seeing third parties. It's like, how did you regulate yourself? Like, what were the affirmations that you?
Oh my goodness. At the beginning, I felt like a bothered mess.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't really consider them really much affirmations, but it's more like I tried to tell myself like this doesn't matter. And like going back to the subliminals, I think that's what truly really dug in my head, kind of like the feeling of like, they're irrelevant. They're just people
Yeah.
that unfortunately we created in our mind that came to reality because of some, self-worth issue, when in reality we are good. Yeah, because I even remember back in the day, like, you were asking me questions on stuff like, like, are you sure? Like, do you feel worthy? Like, I knew I felt worthy, but sometimes I wonder if there was something deeply rooted on a deeper subconscious level that,
Yeah.
made me think that maybe I don't feel worthy, even though consciously I think I do. I mean, to this day, I will always still think I feel worthy, but I mean, it could also be other factors that were probably leading him to do whatever he was doing, which was
Yeah.
totally unacceptable. But the funny part, though, actually, speaking of, third parties and stuff like that, at some point, all of that disappeared, which is really interesting because that's what really made me think, wow, it's all our mind creating this, all these scenarios. But the posts on Instagram were not helping either. But you know,
Like, well, one,
it's
one of the
only
worst
when I really
feelings.
cut them off. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's only when I really cut him off for good, because not because I didn't want to talk to him, but because I was like, you know what? Go focus on other people. And then he came flying back like no tomorrow, and there was no one involved. And he confessed all his feelings, saying he was so stupid for what he did. And I'm like, well, thank you, sir. You
As
have
you should.
awakened.
Yeah. You have awakened. Exactly. Yeah, you made it to the other side. Yeah, congrats.
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you really have to be stubborn.
Oh yeah. I mean, this whole journey is literally about starving your old version, like starving the old stories and just focusing on what you want, and sometimes also having compassion that we can get addicted to the bad emotions, or no, I can't.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say bad emotions, but it's more like the heavy and the dense emotions, and it's like we just keep going back into that loop of like guilt and like anger and frustration, and like sometimes our bodies just get addicted to that. This is why I love the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's really hard to like fully explain it here, but like he talks a lot about that. It's like really changing the feelings in our body and just getting used to like new better feelings. And I think like one of the affirmations that's also really powerful when you feel like you feel worthy, but you haven't fully experienced what you want yet. It's like the most powerful thing to know is that I am worthy even if I don't feel worthy. It's like it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm worthy either way. Like, maybe I don't feel worthy right now, but like the way that the infinite intelligence or universe or God sees you, it's like, okay, maybe I don't feel worthy, but it doesn't matter because I'm inherently worthy. Like, I'm worthy no matter what, right? And that's sort of like the tenet of EFT tapping. It's like, even though I am feeling this way, even though my SP is not here, even though I feel like I will never be able to manifest them, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. Like, that acceptance and forgiveness piece in EFT tapping is, I think, what makes it work, because you're just releasing resistance. You're not fighting with what's happening. You're just like, this is what's happening, but it's okay. Like, I can change this, you know? Like, it's not the end of the world. Even though I'm seeing my SP with another girl or another guy, it's like, okay, it hurts. I'm just going to work on that hurt. And then I'm going to pivot back into, you know, like what you said. Like, it ultimately doesn't matter because I know what I want and I know what I deserve, and it's going to come, you know? Like, I just have to regulate this pain.
Right. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. Okay, I think we sort of talked about everything that we wanted to. Your trajectory of moving from your first SP to your second SP. Obviously, your second SP is like obsessed with you now. That's why he came back after like so long. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, being in a committed relationship is like, it's inevitably gonna happen. Like, it's just, you know, your life.
It's at the brink, literally.
Yeah, of course. It's here. It's here. It's like, it's already yours. Okay, so like, just to wrap it up, like, do you have any last minute advice for people that are on this journey? Because you know what it's like, right? Like, think about yourself just a year ago, that pain, that hurt, that anxiety. What advice really do you have for people who are just like doubting everything, doubting this process, and just feeling like they would be nothing without their SPs?
Well, an advice, honestly, I think that I would have for people is that do not give up. It may seem difficult at the beginning, but that's literally the catalyst to what will transform you. It's funny. I feel so Shakespearean the way I said that, but
No, I agree. I agree, though. It's so true. It's when things are hard, it's like, oh, things are changing. That's why I'm feeling this way.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you're letting go of the resistance.
Mhm.
So, that's really my advice. Do not give up on what you want because you will be able to attain it. Not just that, you will be a brand new self, and the SP will also be a brand new self. Because, if we think about it, oh, I'm going to go on a tangent, but, there are multiple versions, of people in this reality. And that's really true. And, throughout doing this entire program, that's what it really made me realize that, when we use these labels, right, like, oh, he's dismissive avoidant or she's anxious attachment, it's not that. It's not even, we put these labels because it literally what's the word? Proved to me that, for the longest time, like even with my current SP, I kept saying, oh, he's dismissive avoidant. But the reality is that he never was. Because the moment I saw him in such a desperate state in front of my eyes, literally not wanting me to go on those dates, that's when I knew, girl, he never was. It was all you creating that. And that's really what I have, as, a source of inspiration for people. I'm living proof. So
Yeah.
it's like, don't give up, keep going until the end.
Yeah, I love that so much because like I get a lot of comments on my YouTube and TikTok as well of people literally solidifying the old story. It's like, my ex did this at this time and this date, and I'm like, stop. Like, stop commenting that. Like, stop. It doesn't matter. Like, what do you want? You know, like, treat the comment section of these videos like a manifesting portal. It's like, whatever I say is going to come true. Whatever I say is going to happen. And so work on the feeling. Like, the circumstance itself doesn't matter, the story doesn't matter, the feeling is valid, right? So if you're feeling rejected and abandoned, not saying to like just forget about it, no, like that's what you work on, but you don't spiral into the story. It's like, exactly what you described it as. Sometimes we just put labels on people like he's an avoidant, he's anxious when he's really not, and we're just attaching these stories to them and even looking at them from their limited self, you know, like we're not even able to see our SPs in a higher light. It's like we're so attached to the past of, oh, but he did this and he was with this person and he did, you know, like all these, he said this and he said that, and it's like it doesn't matter. Like focus on the feeling that it brought up in your body and then move to the new story.
Exactly. Or even like, it just makes me think about like certain things that even my current SP would tell me 4 to 5 months before I saw him currently. Like things kind of like, oh, we're just friends or we're just this. To me, honestly, like when I even saw him currently, right? Like
Yeah.
even if a word of friendship came out of his mouth, the reality was the fact that him saying, I'm more ready for a relationship. That's what I centralized on.
Yeah.
And that's what I told my mind. I don't care. That's why I literally chuckled and he probably wondered, what are you laughing about? I'm like, boy, because like I'm scratching out what you just said.
Yeah.
Like I'm creating my story.
Exactly. Exactly. And then you just focus on that new story, believe that your SP can show up in this new potential, and then just realize that ultimately, because it's your reality, all you have to do is maintain your magnetism, become the best version of you, be happy, work on yourselves, do things that you love. And then not only will the SP that you desire stick, maybe you'll get someone even better, and that's not even the worst thing ever. It's like it only seems so bad because you're in this state of like feeling lack, but when you're in that abundant state, you can literally have anybody and anything, and life is just good, you know. It's like because you've cultivated that inner peace, like that matters. It's that feeling of stability and security within yourself. Like manifesting an SP is actually not even that difficult. Like people overcomplicate it because of these labels and these stories that we just love. I mean, it's what makes us humans, right? Like we connect with stories and all that stuff. So I get it, but it's like if you want to change, you have to be relentless. And I'm sure that you had to watch, past versions of you die as well. And maybe that was uncomfortable, right? But it's like, yeah,
It
it's
definitely was.
I just want to say thank you so much, person A. I almost called your name, but thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story. And I still can't believe the synchronicity of how this happened. And like when you messaged me, it just made me feel like, yeah, it means that I was on the right path. My cat is on my computer table now. Hi, darling. And yeah, like I just felt like this, like my hit and my intuitive hit was actually right. It's like I was thinking about you and you came in and I was like, that's synchronicity. And I'm just so happy that we were able to find time to talk about this. And thank you so much for sharing your story, because it will help other people on this journey as well. And we know that when we see that other people have come out on the other side, it just makes us believe that it's possible for us too. So thank you so much.
No worries. It was always nice, to be able to share my experience because I can definitely understand, what a lot of people must be going through. So it's like if one person can help, and give them inspiration, well, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you later. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.